Hi, this is Fowstina reading the Book of Christian Basics by Sir John Stott.
Belief in God the Father. The word greed is derived from the Latin verb gredo, I believe. In fact, the greed begins with these words. Christian creeds, then, are summaries of Christian belief, and people started making them at a very early date, particularly to help in the instruction of converts. There are even traces of short creeds in the New Testament. Example 1 Timothy chapter 3 verse 16. Two historic creeds are almost universally acknowledged. First, there is the Apostles' Creed. It is to this that people are usually referring when they talk simply of the creed. It was not composed by the 12 apostles and did not reach its final form until the middle of the 8th century AD, but a number of its clauses have been traced back to the 2nd century. It is rightly called the Apostles' Creed, however, because it states consciously the teaching which the apostles give us in the New Testament about God. Secondly, there is a Nicene Creed. It is slightly longer than the Apostles' Creed. It owes its name to the fact that it includes certain clauses about the divine human person of Jesus Christ, which were agreed at the Council of Nicaea in AD 325. The existence of God. Like the Bible, the Greeks assumes the existence of God and do not argue it. Ultimately, we accept God's existence by faith rather than by proof because being infinite and therefore beyond the reach of our finite minds. God can be known only by His revelation and not by our reason. I do not mean by this that belief in the existence of God is unreasonable. On the contrary, there are sound reasons for believing that He exists. There is no space here to elaborate the five classical arguments for the existence of God, which were expounded by Thomas Aquinas. Instead, all I can do is to suggest three lines of thought. The fact of the universe. All around us are phenomena which are inexplicable apart from God. It is reasonable to suppose that just as every building has its architect, every painting its artist, and every mechanism its designer, so the universe, mysterious, beautiful, and intricate, must have its creator. He is the cause from which all effects ultimately derive. He is the life to which all life owes its being. He is the energy from which all motion comes. These thoughts are expressed by the biblical writers in various ways. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of His hands. Psalm 19:1. Since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, His eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made. Romans 1:20. Again, the living God who made heaven and earth and sea and everything in them has not left Himself without testimony. He has shown kindness by giving you rain from heaven and crops in the seasons. He provides you with plenty of food and fills your heart with joy. Acts 14 verse 15 and 7 to 17. Following the destruction of the medieval St. Paul's Cathedral in the Great Fire of London 1666, Sir Christopher Wren began to design and build the new one which remains. Visitors are often surprised that it contains no memorial to him. His tomb is in the crypt, however, near those of Nelson and Wellington, and above it a plaque bears the Latin inscription Si monumentum recures circumspice. If you seek his monument, look around you. Similarly, the world God has made is his best witness. The nature of human beings. If having looked out at the universe, we now look in at ourselves, we find further evidence for the existence of God. High ideals and lofty aspirations stir within us. Things beautiful to eyes, ears, and touch deeply move us. Our mind is instably curious in its quest for knowledge. An imperious urge to do what we ought to do pulls us onward and backward and burdens us with shame when we fail. Love too discloses the unique nobility of our humanness, the love which has inspired the greatest exploits of art, heroism, sacrifice, and service. Are these universal feelings an empty mockery, a mirage in the desert of illusion? Or is there some ultimate beauty, truth, goodness, and love to which our whole personality responds? More important still, what can be said of our inborn reverence for high and holy things, our sense of awe and wonder, our craze to worship? Why, why are all human beings worshipping creatures who manufacture their own gods if none is revealed to them? Is there no God in whose service these longings can find their fulfillment? In the light of these facts of our own experience, it seems more reasonable to believe in God than to deny Him. The person of Jesus. If God is infinite, He is beyond us. If He is beyond us, we cannot know Him unless He chooses to make Himself known. If He were to make Himself known, He would surely do so in the highest terms which would be intelligible to us, namely through human personality. It is exactly this that Christians believe He has done. God has not been content to reveal Himself only in the universe He has made and in the nature He has given us. He has come Himself into our world. In Jesus Christ, God became a human being without ceasing to be God. This unique God man lived on earth and was seen, heard, and touched. The evidence for the deity of Jesus I must leave until the next chapter. It is enough here to say that the best and strongest argument for the existence of God is the Jesus of history. If by chance you are promised doubtful about God, I urge you to read the Gospels on your knees. Seek and you will find, Jesus said, Matthew 7:7. Come to the historical records of Him who claimed to be the Son of the Father with the open, humble, unprejudiced mind of a little child. It is to people like this Jesus promised that God reveals Himself. Matthew 11:25.